Hello, and welcome back to Burrows. We're doing the new build for Kenny Boy. We love Ken here, right? Because he's best boy, and we all just agree with this. I'm very sure. This is wrong. The way she's looking at me. I'm not supposed to be here. Yeah? She can feel it. She's calling out for a me that doesn't exist. God help me. She exits the stage as the musicians start to gather their equipment. The crowd still buzzes with murmurs of excitement long after the performance has ended. Was I just imagining things? No. She looked too much like... Whoa! What a show! I jump. A squeaky yet comfortably familiar voice pierces through the fog. Yeah, she was really good. Gotta say, I wasn't expecting such a quality performing. I can't read right now, apparently. I wasn't expecting such a quality act from an ill town like this. I can see why this place is crawling with critters every night. Another group starts setting up on the stage, playing some light dinner music as the guests resume their conversations. I scan the crowd, but it's too dim to make out any familiar faces. Colt keeps giggling to himself, humming the song over and over. Say, were you and that woman already acquainted, son? No. I mean, why do you ask? He scratches his head and looks at Colt, who shrugs. It's just, she sort of looked right at you at the end. Like she was singing to you specifically. So it wasn't just me. It's hard to explain. I just got the feeling we'd met before, that's all. But you just said you hadn't. I don't want to get into it right now, okay? I needed time to think. I suddenly feel dizzy, and Jesse holds me steady. Hey, you feeling okay? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. He reaches for me, but Jesse brushes his hand away, shaking his head. You don't gotta tell us anything, if it's a private matter. Let's mosey back to our room, okay? I nod, unsure if I'll be able to sleep with all of those thoughts racing through my head. Ooh? Yeah? Well, ain't you a sight for sore eyes? A gravelly, well, it is what it is. A gravelly voice stops me dead in my tracks. Fuck, it's him again. Oh, Frank! Oh, man, it's been so long, I don't even remember the tone of voice I used for this lad. Glad to see you. You made it in one piece, Poss. It's dangerous around these parts. He tips his hat, milady, towards Colt and Jesse, smirking deviously. You never know what kind of delinquents might be lurking around the corner. Pardon? The husky chuckles under his breath, taking off his shades to give us a once-over. My apologies. It appears we haven't been introduced. You can call me Frank. He flicks his badge. Officer Frank. And y'all? Colt gulps as Jesse moves in between them, puffing out his chest. Name's Jesse. Little one's Colt. We escorted the possum here on his request. Frank's eyebrows shoot up. He shakes his head, seemingly betrayed. Gray. And I offered you a safe ride too. Didn't your mama ever teach you not to talk to strangers? Didn't yours ever teach you not to judge a book by its cover? We're not gangsters, officer. Strange. I don't recall, accusing y'all of any such thing. The rodent doth protest too much, methinks. Moostelid! The two starts growling at each other, and Jesse pushes Colt away, taking a deep breath before yawning.
Listen, mister. We're not here to do any harm. I can show you the license and registration for our vehicles. They're parked out front. ID says Texas, but the plates say Cali. See?
He whips out his wallet. Frank takes the bait, grumbling as he scans over the tiny plastic card.
Now, I don't know what personal grievance you have against bikers, but we're both properly registered with the Los Angeles Motor Club. I can write down their number if you need a check.
No need. It checks out. He hands Jesse's ID back. Colt sticks his tongue out at Frank, secretly flipping him the bird, while still mostly, obscured by the broad otter.
Well, they say you are the company you choose, Gray. Still, glad to see you took my recommendation to heart.
Yeah, it's a nice place, all right.
How long you'll stay in? I'd love to compare rooms. A group as big as yours, I'd reckon you got one of the executive suites, yeah? 3rd floor?
I'm really not in the mood to get cross-examined. I feel like every word we say to this guy is just building up his case against Colt and Jesse, not to mention Ken's still at large. Actually, I'm really tired. I was just headed to bed, so... He nods, pulling out a notepad to write something down. Bastard.
I understand. Rest does a body good. Oh, but before you go, I'd like to introduce y'all to my little lady.
Huh? He whistles at the person sitting behind him. The fox jumps, having been in the middle of shoving fistfuls of chips and salsa down her gullet. Oh, what is this word? What is this word? Babette? Babette? What?
I don't know. Come here, darling.
One moment, dear. The free refills on chips are still valid for another 3 minutes. Wait a minute. That voice.
Where'd you pick her up at? The precious little thing was looking for a ride to town a few miles back. Said her boyfriend dumped her and left her to fend for herself. I was just finishing my last patrol and found her moments from collapsing. Can y'all believe anyone would abandon such a precious creature?
Didn't you just lay into us for picking up Gray?
It ain't worth it, Colt.
The fox punctuates the end of her meal with a long burp before demurely patting her mouth with the edges of the tablecloth. I'm coming, dear. She stands up, and her height is immediately apparent, almost eclipsing Frank with the length of her ears alone. I feel like I've seen them before. And that forced falsetto, the jaunty hips. Ah, yes. Okay. So it was them in the CG before. Gray? Gene? His hand hushes me before I can blow his cover. Frank cocks his head curiously.
Hold up. Who the hell is Gene?
You didn't. Shut the fuck up. He regains his composure and swings around, batting his eyelashes coyly at the confused canine. Oh, this is just an old colleague of mine. Jean was my old modeling name, you see.
Oh, of course, silly me. What an esteemed career my little lady's had. First journalism school, and now modeling. Where do you find the time?
Oh, you know me. Always on the go. You did, didn't you? He stares daggers at me, making a throat-cutting motion. Actually, I think I'd like to take some time to catch up with my dear old friend. Why don't you head to our room and run a bath for us, sweetums? He rubs his knee against Frank's inner thigh, and his tail starts wagging.
Anything for you, sugar.
He tips his hat at us before throwing a handful of bills on the table and scurrying towards the stairs. You're disgusting. You know that? I'm fabulous.
Someone you know, Gray.
Oh, who's the tall drink of seawater? Looks like you've been busy as well, lover boy. I fucking swear to God. I try to compose myself and lean in to discreetly whisper to the other two. Sorry, but I'd like some privacy right now. Can y'all head up to the room and make sure Ken hasn't ruined the place?
I guess. All right, but I want to see you back in 10 minutes, or we'll come looking for you, okay? Something ain't right about that Frank fella.
I nod and shoo them away, preparing to face my greatest adversary yet. Okay, I have so many questions. As do I. Like, how did a homely little thing like you manage to snag two handsome fellows while I got stuck with that wannabe gumshoe? Are you fucking serious? Does it ever turn off, or are you always like this? Medical science has yet to find an answer. Regardless, I can fill you in on what I know. He explains coming to our apartment, finding the note, going to confront Charles, but finding Virgil instead, and ultimately ending up a few miles away from town. And then there I was, standing in a field in the middle of who knows where. At first I thought I had been kidnapped by mobsters, but then I remembered I'd already paid them off for the month. Uh-huh. Once I was done making sure I still had both my kidneys, I came across a little house. A woman was hanging laundry on the wire, and then it was then that I knew I must have been sent to Oz. How so? He gestures to his outfit. Have you seen how garishly the women here dress? Where's the elegance, the grace? You don't possess either of those qualities. Damn! Yo! Gray just out here taking shots. Anyway, I know that I'd need to put together a look to hitchhike my way to town, so I borrowed some things once her back was turned, and voila. He does a twirl, his dress coiling around his legs like a movie star. It's impressive considering you threw it together on the spot. I'll give you that. The cover of Night does a lot of work for girls like me. Thankfully, Frank opted for the lover's suite, so I'll only be seen by candlelight during the deed. The deed. Jean, please tell me you... He closes the distance between us, those golden irises burning with anger. You don't get to tell me how to live my life. I don't know this word. I'm not gonna try. That's just how life is. Did you forget why I put myself through this in the first place? His grip around my waist tightens and I wince. When you signed the lease, you entered into a covenant with both me and the bank. If you don't pay the rent, where do you think the money for the property taxes comes from? You could have done things properly. We could have worked out an agreement. But now... I pull my hand free, and he looks me up and down, shaking his head in disgust. Now, it's personal. You're insane. Now you're trapped here with me, all because of your stupid greed. Trapped, you say? You don't exactly seem like you're trying to escape. Ugh. What? Did you fall for those two? Why are they like this? Why are they like this? And now you're fine and dandy staying here. It's not like that. There's another person. Ken. He needs my help. Oh, that does it. He gets 3 men and doesn't pay his rent. Jean, can you listen to me for 60 seconds without interjecting? I'll try. No promises. Virgil is dangerous. He has powers that are beyond my understanding. He sent me from New Orleans to Texas and then from Oklahoma to North Dakota, all within a 24-hour time period. He's keeping us here by making the roads loop back into themselves. Whatever he told you is probably a lie, and he's probably watching us right now. So, instead of worrying about me, you should be worrying about the situation you just got yourself into. He's finally quiet, and Gene is used to living in a world where he's running the show, so he must feel pretty powerless right now. Gray, you saw her, right? The singer. I freeze. Yeah. That was supposed to be her, right? Simone? I don't know. But it wasn't quite her. She was older and had different fur. But that voice was unmistakably no, it's Simone. It's not Simon. Simone. Probably. It's fine. Maybe you're right. Something fucked up is happening here. But that doesn't mean you're off the hook. Jean, you ran away again. Don't you remember what she said? That's what hurt the most. I don't need to hear it from you of all people. I pull away and head towards the stairs. Gray? I'm not going anywhere until I get that rent. You hear me? If I have to bring you back to New Orleans kicking and screaming, I'll do it. I wave behind me, too angry to turn around. Like this story needed more complications. I knock on the door and wait for Ken to undo all of the locks, yawning into my hands. Okay. Welcome back, sleepyhead. You missed a great show. God, I forgot how good Ken looks. Just don't mind me. It's fine. I could hear it just fine from here. I see Jesse and Colt sitting on the couch. Were they waiting for this whole time? Doesn't matter. That cop's on our tail now. We shouldn't leave the room until he checks out. What? You two? That asshole hasn't changed at all. You know him? Ken, we're all being scrutinized now. It could be good to share information. Save your breath, Gray. None of us can trust each other. That much is clear. I'm not keeping anything from you. It's just... hard to explain. We get it. Trust us. He puts a hand on my shoulder. But the effort to try is all we ask. We have to rely on each other. Thanks. I promise that tomorrow will be another good day. Well, be a better day. My mind is just rewriting this script in the worst ways. I just need to settle my thoughts. I cut myself off with another yawn, and the group agrees to settle down for the night. So, which room are you staying in, Gray? Huh? Well... I look at Colt, unable to get the image of him kissing me out of my mind. It's just... I look at Ken, remembering what happened the last time we shared a room together. What? I think I'll sleep on the couch tonight. What? No... I want to sleep with Ken. Oh, all right.
And there's a spare blanket in our room. I'll fetch it for you. Coward.
Shut up.
You have some explaining to do tomorrow, cat.
His fur bristles and he looks away bashfully.
Whatever.
Ken darts into his room, slamming the door behind him. Serves him right. I kick off my shoe and collapse onto the plush sofa, angling the throw pillows to prop my head up so I don't snore. Eh? What is this sound effect? Okay. I kick off my shoes and collapse onto the plush sofa. Yeah, and Colt puts out the fire. Oh, it's the fireplace. Coughing as black smoke billows out of the pit. Jesse tosses Colt a knit blanket, and he drapes it over me like a tablecloth. I can already feel myself slipping. I'm sorry about earlier. We'll talk about it tomorrow, okay? Oh, okay. Good night, Gray. Okay. Okay, little lad. He doesn't finish, turning off the lights before scurrying back into his room. What a little spaz. Maybe Jean's right to be jealous of me. That freak's probably getting railed by Frank right now. Probably got him drunk enough that he won't notice Jean's little secret. Part of me is jealous, but I already got over my straight guy phase. No dick is worth dying for. And Ken, did he really get hot and bothered watching me and Colt kiss, or am I misreading the whole situation? Is Ken actually gay? Is that why he's so outwardly homophobic, to put up a front? And if that's true, what are the odds Colt and Jesse are also being... of Colt and Jesse also being gay? Pretty good in these kind of games, all things considered. Where were all these attractive queers back home? A different time. It is what it is, Gray. It's not fair. But if the agent was telling the truth, none of this is real anyway. Maybe Virgil is just trying to entice me. I don't want to believe what he said. I'll have to talk to him again. Tomorrow. What? What's this? What's this? I think about it often. Every time we'd go down by the lake. The transition from rocks, dirt, and grass into tiny grains of sand. Millions and millions of particles slowly becoming new terrain. I would always stop in my tracks when it felt like I was standing at the threshold between the two spaces. Treading into new territory frightened me. I remembered everything they told me. Thresholds are very powerful, sacred even. The final resting place before I'd be thrust into the sea. The waves will pull me in, and the pressure will break my body down until I'm reduced to nothing. This is really hard to read. And then I'll return to the beach as grains of sand. My very being now forming the bedrock of this world. So instead, I stay in the in-between where it's safe. Even if people are scared of me. Because no matter how painful this kind of existence is, I'm too scared of what's waiting for me beneath those dark waves to go further. What is that? Good question, Gray. And maybe we'll find out next time, because I'm ending the part here. So I'll see you around, everyone.